Kakabuk sayar banthia ki arshaka ki jong pimenta ka kinti wan chaka frang Yamaha but yoru ki cashback hado saujar tingka baga jinga eru ki helmet habat thia ki Yamaha scooter pin yoru ka discount ka bahadu nyaw jar tingka habat thia ki bag FC but FZS but ru ka down payment ka bakhala jar tingka phone ki number harum
ka Sorkar jylla lingbagatna tourism balakrit daw director ba Cyril VD deng do hagasi thoding ka khatpatre gurisaw arja arsa kala lumlang ik nongilam but khot jong ko all Khasi Meghalaya Tourist Taxi Association ha state convention center Shillong banyakran halokimat Jingdawa ki jongki kabala pelong ru dagi jingeki nagalang uba Cyril habakran bakila pathai Khubor hadim rawai ki jingelang ulong bayamanta ka Sorkar kampat chim yakanu kanu ka sinjam Henry kala Bthah ya ka MTTA bahkan kedau kimat Jingdawa ki jongki patpan ai lengba da Jingthoh krang baka Sorkar kanyo bahkan pednya bin pat bat banra hakiwe pat ki jingelang katwana kaliang uba Ri Khasi Jaintia president jong senjok ki Nongñiah kali tores ulong baka jinge kren kalong kabayai beja renti bat watla ka jinge kren kamchim la punhun Henry gila priang tambakin hapan apat saya karai ke badmi nekiwe pat ki jingelang rai thuru ban nakaliang jongki chen salet pan IT Syaka Sorkar daga Jingthoh kum manchukro hangni baki Nongñiah kali kamai tourist hapo ka shatri jong all Khasi Meghalaya Tourist Taxi Association kila dawan naka Sorkar jylla pakan thau ya ka policy trekam ban khangla ki kali tourist ki ban shaba jong jylla ban let banbu ya ki nong ka sha keleng ki jaka ka perthei ke badon hangni hapo ka jylla.
This was the second meeting of the committee that has been formed to examine the grievances of the tourist taxi associations. So many tourist taxi associations attended the meeting today, including the AMTTA. There was a lot of discussion, lot of valuable suggestions from various associations. Many of them raised important points of concern that they have, and they also suggested many practical solutions. Obviously, we have to take these grievances and solutions that they've proposed by consulting other stakeholders, because as you know, tourism is a multi-stakeholder industry. Some of them have some suggestions regarding tourist spots, so I told them, please give everything in writing. Once they give in writing, as soon as possible, we will then call other stakeholders like tourist spot owners. Tourist spots in our state, as you all know, are run by community, by the Shillong, by societies, etc. So they also have to be consulted. So we will be consulting them after we get their suggestions of the taxi associations in writing.
Can you tell us what is the main point they suggest you?
There were many points. There were points on having different policy, etc. And some of them were very practical points. For example, some of them suggested that why don't we have an app? So we decided that yes, from the tourism department, we'll come up with an app where we will list all the tourist taxi associations, including the drivers that belong to these associations, so that tourists who come from outside will have one app where they'll have a listing of all the tourist taxi associations, including the drivers and the routes in which they fly, so that there will be information to tourists, and through this information they can be, for example, hired. We also discussed on capacity building. Many of them suggested that there's a requirement of training for the drivers. We are happy that they suggested that. We understand that today the driver is not only a driver. The driver has to also act as a tour guide, because when they journey with the driver, many of the tourists want to know about various places. So tourist taxi drivers also require training in tour guiding. They require training in communication skills. They require other forms of training. So they are happy that the government can provide this training, and we have asked them to give the list of all the associations, including all the drivers, so that we can plan a capacity building and training program for all the drivers.
So since we know also these people,
No, they did not say that. In fact, they clarified that they are not asking for any ban of any Assam vehicle. We know that a lot of tourists have to come from Guwahati airport, right? Because the airport is there. So they have suggested some policy. I told them to give in writing what that policy is that they want in local tourist spots. So they did not elaborate on that. They said they'll give in writing. Once they give in writing, then we will examine, because it involves multiple stakeholders, including the transport department, because they were citing the example of other states. So I said, give in writing what the other states are, because obviously these are legal issues, policy issues. They need time and they need consultation with many stakeholders. As you are aware, the committee's mandate also is to have wide-ranging consultations with all tourism stakeholders, including those who run tourist spots. Hence, like I said earlier, I have requested all the tourist taxi associations to give their suggestions in writing to the government, through this committee to the committee. Once they give in writing, we will examine the suggestions. We will consult the departments concerned, including law, police, and the transport department, who is also a member of this committee. And then we will consult other stakeholders, and then we can then arrive at what are the suggestions and recommendations that can be given by this committee. Right?
When's the next
Thank
meeting?
you.
Next meeting?
Next meeting we have not decided because we had two major meetings with all the stakeholders. Now we have completed, two major meetings with all the relevant stakeholders, from tourist taxi associations to the previous meeting was attended by tour operators, by hoteliers, by other stakeholders. So once they give in writing, then perhaps we will have to consult even the tourist spot, those who run the tourist spots. That means the Shillongs and the major tourist spots, especially in Shillong, Sorkar, in Shillong Padang. We'll have to consult these tourist spots once they give their suggestions in writing. So I'm waiting for their suggestions in writing.
How much time did you send a suggestion?
As soon as possible, I said. If they can give today, tomorrow, whenever they are ready. It's up to them. Okay.
Halor kata ngan kong sap ngai kublai biang sport nak sport ngam la ban ai kublai fi ki press media ki ban ka watch ka por fila ban saphengi khubor ki bai ri ha borok ke jela jogi ki bai ri ki nu ki kam ki ba jala ni ki nu ki kam susi ki ba kam subha ki ba dei ha pen jong ke jela jungi ngai kublai fi ringkat bat yangi kim pra nong lam hang ni ber khoi ki ban ka wi ka son ni dan ka jingi kran ke jungi ha pring ka to ka meeting ka menne kalong ka ba ya baik ya nanti bat naga Sorkar hi kala pun baik ba ya kai ka bang kwa naga leng jongki kalong bangin pha ya Jingthoh saki ha ka bai dei ba kita jing ai jingmut ke jongi lembaki ascan tourist taxi kidon ki points kita kumbangi la ya tho mane ki ladon khambon hi ka ba ngin ai ko Sorkar kamot ke kum ha pok tourism department nyotuli pratli ki ladon kumta kadai hi tu ka ba reciprocal ke tu gadi ka policy ke ban penteri kam ha ke bangi ai syaka Sorkar ban penteri kam ha ke bai dei bat kita spot ki bangi demand lamba ka ekmta bat ki member ki badan pok secretary jong ka ekmta mau hi roong ba ngilai pensai na borok ki asan ki badan meneh hang tu pok ka kamera bangi long meeting hi la pan ya ka suggestion la pdiang ki ke bangin ai Jingthoh hakini ki singi asngi ki bangin selira bat ngan phak ru ka Jingthoh khasi nang ba ka Sorkar hi ka don kam ban kala da ka phareng ha ka bai dei bat tu Jingthoh ni ki jing ai jing mut jungi ha ka badi reciprocal ni ki wiki jing ai jing mut jungi lembaga tourist taxi association halo tu ka apps ke laong hi kumta ba ngi don kam ban ngin lum ngin langi ki ka notuli ki kali ki badan ni ki keteng jong ki tribal bat ki telephone number nang bagara kaleng ka Sorkar bagin ai no ya tu ka apps ka ki lada ki wan ki nong jong kai sing ka jala jungi nang bungi ban kin contact itu ki tribal ki bjan pok app jong ni ka jala jong Meghalaya jungi ka Sorkar Meghalaya jungi ha kaliang jongi ki asan ki bangi demand hawai dei bat ki ban sna policy beri tu respond kampat songhun hindiat nrei ka kampat dan ke jing songhun nrei ha bangi akran menengi la yo hi takalenti ka ban hindiat ka ban ka Sorkar ngi hap ipor hiru ka Sorkar makan pek ban kmi shwai ka ta ke jing demand jungi ni la long impat da songhun nut hadu kata 4% nrei 100% la don hi ka nagalen jungi bangi kermen ba kan sasa trikam la ni kan sapen urlong ya kini ka mat Jingdawa jungi ha bai dei bat ki tourist spot ban thawi ki policy halo kata ngila ban jala Sorkar bang ngila ong hiru na kalyang jungi ngi dei ki drabal kali ki badan hangi ki bangi den bai ko feel man kasni ni kroi string man kasni gam ban ong no bangin lek kamai ki ji te na kalyang jongi ngila ong ban kampen kloi ya ka Sorkar namar ba ngim don por ban wan ki kita committee na kawai committee sa kawai committee nang bangin yo ban like no jing sham jing ja jungi ha ka ba ya ki jing jungi ko Nongñiah kali kamai am ya ka jing ki ya menta ting ngidon hi ka jing mut banyak sekmat halo kita ki jing ki tang balong ya mentang ya ai lat Sorkar bahkan pek kmi swai ta ki Jingthoh ki bai dei halo ki ba ngin sapha ki syaka Sorkar kumta ka nong bang ki ha ki tour spot ki dangya hi dai ta kili ban ba state ni ha ban ai lat ka Sorkar ban puli ni ban pek swai ta ki Jingthoh ki bangin sai ya mentah hingin sap lo na kalian jungi haban sengap hiru ke ai ba ka Sorkar ka jing mut bat na ka Sorkar ke dei hiru ban sengap ya ke ai ke bangi ku Nongñiah kali kamai terus hi bahkan ngila ai jing mut ya ka
mentang chupen syai halor ka tu ka reciprocal process bangi pha ka government ma kani ka reciprocal process kolong ba labun da nipet ya ka Jharkhand ka Orissa ka Delhi Haryana ai hilasai ni kata ka reciprocal process apa deng jengki bat kumno ya kini ki kota jengki kali kini ya nakawai ka state ka state de kani ka reciprocal process ngila pha saka ngila ai ka jingmut minaspo Sorkar ro ban ngila pen ihi ba kumno ban pentri kam te ka Sorkar kala klo hi na kaliang jeng department ro jengi director ila kloi hi ban Shim ya kata karai jungi bat ka jingai jingmut jungi te ila pha ingi ru ban pha ita ki soft copy jungi ni ki gazette EA khanang ba in yo man le ya kata ka study nakaliang jung ka department jungki ma ta
Hakabai day but kay kaba nakaliang Nongñiah jongka all Khasi Meghalaya Tourist Taxi Association lapan snow. Ya kabadai but kani reciprocal transport agreement. Kani ka RTA kabangi ong ngaka tilingkot. Kani kabala dep ban pentrikam hapok kani ka thanj tilamngi hapok ka jylla Sikkim. Hapadeng ka Sikkim but ka West Bengal. But lingba kani ka RTA nakapor sekpor ka judan ka amendment but Sikkim ru minta ki dangdon ke jingye penbet mai ban ngai lingba kani ki babon ke jingmentoi ka wan ya ki try ki driver nya kali ki bade na Sikkim lani na West Bengal ki don laga jong ke jingmentoi kamnum don chu ban ong bakan long no Shillong ya kanu ke jylla lani kinu ki driver bat kani ke subject yang kumalong minta kadai ke benang thumai namar mene bangi wanra hakani ke committee nakaliang chairman ru ong ba kani ke subject dang de ke thumai but don't come bangin hab ban submit ke transport department nama ke transport department kan hab ban study ya kani ka agreement but kumban shuong no bala don boong bagani ke Sikkim model ban shuong no kani kam di ke Sikkim model kani di kabala dep ban pentrekam ma ki babun tli ki jylla kumbala benrap kumbala dep ban pensngo kani ke reciprocal transport agreement ke di bala dep ban pentrekam do Jharkhand hapadeng ke Jharkhand bat ko Odisha but hapadeng kini ke jylla ngani thu pi yo kadon kanu jingthoh bakla bakan don ka problem hakabede bakata ka transit route kani ka transit route kanam don kanu ke jing ong no pi namar la dangi Shim kini ki jylla ru ki jylla ki bahe bani ka jylla Meghalaya but lingba kini ki jylla phin hapru banya lingba sikibe ru ki jylla kam don jingthot hangno ru hadu menta kani ka RTA ka de ka bala trekam ha bat kalong effective kini ki jylla but kalawan ra bon ki jingmutoi namar kani ka RTA kaderu habede ka khajna ka donru habede kumbala batai ki kota ki baki ai ka permit chekini ki tourist taxi badru habat ki ki kali marhakani ka RTA ki don gilti ki state ki ba kan thup langru wat ya ki kali kit marbam sekiwi kiwe tenganget ba andangila IT cheka state government ba ka state government enda ka shong ban study bhai gani kermen ba kani kan wanra ya ka jing bha na kamanta kini ki tourist taxi driver nak ni jylla berkumjuru lada ka Sorkar Meghalaya kade banye keren ba ka Sorkar Assam ngangit ba ka Sorkar Assam ru haba ka don kanu ka jing ya suthu jingmut kandon ka jing mintoy ya baro lang hi markani ong balale shule daga Jingthoh ka ba kumni kumta inde ka lingbat ka bayaj ka motor vehicles act kaba kade ke central act but kidon ki state ki badon la ke jong ka MV act kita ki yat tak ba pulia benya ki MV act ke jong ki hi tenganget kumba ngila banru mene ka bede bakom MV act namta ka jylla ka jongi nagaliang ka Sorkar ka penso bakidang ya keren menta ya ka ban donno la ka jong ka motor vehicle act hapo kane ka jylla Meghalaya ru te kini ki bangi penso but kiwi ki kumbala benrap mene kiwi ki jing abai de bi tourist taxi ngila dep ban ya keren lut habashai bat ngange ke department nu kala dep ban note down ki bat menta ka supan nangi tan ka Jingthoh ya ka bangin sa IT kini kisngi ki ban swan